Bungie has just dropped their massive Brave Arsenal article where they're going to detail all of the perks that are going to be coming on these iconic weapons as they return with the Into the Light event. So we're going to give you a god roll guide of each of these, or at least talk a little bit about theory crafting what some of the god rolls might be. Obviously, we won't know until we actually get them in game and get to practice a little bit with them. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's live stream focused on Destiny 2 Into the Light, where we revealed the Brave Arsenal, a collection of some of the most iconic weapons in Destiny's history. And I actually covered a video of that. If you haven't seen that, we watched and reacted to the whole thing. Today, we'll expand on how we are bringing back these living legends to the current sandbox alongside their limited edition variants. Without further ado, we leave you with the very capable hands of our weapons team. Good day, folks. Chris Proctor here. Destiny 2 Into Light, we wanted to ship new versions of the most iconic weapons from all over Destiny's history as we could, including a couple original Destiny throwbacks with updated art as we rebuilt some brand new perks. Many of the original versions can no longer be acquired, while others can be obtained from endgame activities. We pulled these weapons from many sources, including raids, weapons, Black Armory, one epic meme. Then we carefully weighted impact on rebuilding certain weapons against others before deciding on these to represent different areas of the game and a variety of weapon archetypes. And I feel like they actually picked a decent selection of weapons here, so I'm looking forward to grinding out some of these god rolls. The selection we ended up with is 12 iconic weapons remembered with a smile by many players. Many of these have random rolls for the very first time, while others have updated perk pools. None are crafted though, from what I can tell. Our goal was to make them feel like they used to, and many retain their original stat packages, but others have been updated to achieve that feel in the current weapon sandbox. But let us be clear, only the Destiny 2 Into the Light versions of these weapons have updated perk pools, even compared to the weapons that are currently obtainable in the game. Each weapon comes with a brand new origin trait, which we've talked about before, and there's a new right column perk, which is called Desperate Measures. And we also made sure that all these Brave Arsenal weapons were updated to our current art quality bar with the visual theme across the whole set, which it all looks really, really cool. The aesthetic is amazing. So behold, the Brave Arsenal. The Forbearance, this is that wave frame grenade launcher that pretty much everyone is using for ad clear. It has chain reaction in the column, right-hand column, and that just makes ad clear insane. With this, you just shoot one Forbearance and all of the ads in front of you die, unless you're in like a really challenging activity, of course, and that's why they've been buffing those heavy waveframe GLs quite a bit, so you could maybe use that in something like a GM. The potent combination of Ambitious Assassin and Chain Reaction, got it. It was the only second special ammo weapon to include the strong ad clear perk. This is from the Vow of the Disciple raid, so normally it requires ownership of Witch Queen and an active raid group to get it, but we want players to experience this. So because it's as strong as an exotic weapon, basically. We also took the opportunity to update its perk pool with Disruption Break, Demolitionist, and more. So if you already have the Forbearance, you may not necessarily be as interested in this, but it does have a new origin trait, which will actually give you more grenade energy, so you could actually like lean into that even more. You could have Demo and the origin trait, so you could probably get a lot of grenade energy on that if you did like Demo and Chain Reaction. Maybe lean into a really heavy grenade build using the Forbearance. But a lot of people will go with like Unrelenting, so that way they can get health back, or they'll go, of course, with the classic Ambitious Assassin. But Chain Reaction in the right-hand column is going to be probably the best perk option, although it should be said that there is that new perk, Desperate Measures. The reason why you don't really use a damage-increasing perk on this is because you're trying to shoot it one time. There's only one shot in the magazine, so you just want to shoot it once and have that one shot clear all of the ads. You wouldn't want to shoot it and then reload and get Rampage, or reload and get Kill Clip, or proc any perk like One for All. Really, you'd want it to just one shot all of the ads. You're not trying to make two shots to clear all of the ads. So that's pretty exciting though to have that come back, and new players are going to be especially excited for that one. The Succession is coming back, and the same thing as before, its OP combination was Reconstruction and Vorpal. So Bungie's at least aware of that everyone is using that role. They obviously have the stats in their studio. They can see which role people are crafting the most. So it's good to see them actually address what the god role is currently and continue to have those perks on it, because that would be super disappointing and upsetting if they didn't have it. And so currently you have to do the Deep Stone Crypt raid, you have to own Beyond Light. And so now, just like with the Forbearance, they're trying to give this to all players, so that way you can have one of the best snipers in the game. Everyone's going to need Succession if you want to kill the Witness. Everyone's going to need a Forbearance if you want to kill the Witness, is basically what Bungie is saying, right? These two weapons have been iconic and an absolute staple in everyone's arsenal that's been doing challenging endgame content for the past few years. In the third column, you're going to have Moving Target, No Distractions, Lead from Gold, Reconstruction, Firmly Planted, Demo, and Discord. So obviously we're going to stick with the golden perk here, which is Reconstruction. Reloads the weapon for you, so you don't have to sit and manually reload it, and it also overfills the magazine, so it's especially nice. And the fourth column, you got Snapshot, Redirection, Recombination, Vorpal, Focus Fury, Firing Line, Box Breathing, and then the new perk Desperate Measures. So I'll have to test out and see if Desperate Measures has any application when using this weapon. I doubt it though. I think overall people will probably just go with the classic Reconstruction Vorpal roll, but it should also be mentioned that Firing Line's not too bad. You do have to hit those precision hits, but I believe it's 20% damage buff, and whereas Vorpal's going to be... Actually, Vorpal's a 20% on a special weapon too, so definitely a Vorpal, probably Reconstruction Vorpal. I'd probably skip over Firing Line, unless I have those numbers mixed up a little bit, but I believe it's the same damage buff overall. Next up, we have the Falling Guillotine, Season of Arrivals. Now, the Falling Guillotine is coming back. This is an iconic sword that reminds you of the Dark Drinker from the days of Destiny 1, if you got that exotic sword back in the day. We're using that in Wrath of the Machine. And so now they've brought it back, and they said that right here, now Falling Guillotine is back with an updated perk pool and some spicy combos. Repulsor Brace, Destabilizing Rounds, Chain Reaction, Surrounded, longtime favorite, Relentless Strikes, and Whirlwind Blade. Some of that stuff has all been nerfed though, and this sword overall, from all of the DPS tests that I've seen, is really nothing crazy when it comes to boss damage. So this isn't like equip Falling Guillotine and run through bosses in Destiny 2 anymore. The reason why people were so interested in something like the Slammer was really just because it was the first one to have Eager Edge. So Bungie is keeping up with that tradition and giving it Eager Edge in the fourth column, so that's exciting. Now, what are we going to put in the other column, though? I mean, if we're not going to be killing bosses with the weapon, then we're probably going to use it for just ad clear. So you have, you know, your pick. Pick whatever you like here. Whichever perk sounds most interesting to you. Repulsor Brace, Chain Reaction even. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really going to use my sword to clear ads too much, but it is just an interesting perk overall. Unless I see some footage or some gameplay to show otherwise. Like I've said, all I've heard is that it's not very good for boss DPS, so you could try to lean into it with something like Vorpal, even though that's only 10% buff. Try to lean into it with that, but I don't think it's really going to be very potent, so it's mostly just like a fun, unique type of sword right now. But it does take you further with Eager Edge. I've heard that you fly even faster and further, so a lot of people will enjoy it for that alone, and they won't really care about the third column perk. The Recluse is coming back. This SMG was absolutely insane in the game for both PvE and PvP. It was an absolute nuisance. Its Master of Arms perk actually buffed damage by 50%. The buff itself as well was ridiculously powerful back in the day. And the third column now, we're going to have Feeding Frenzy, so getting a kill is going to reload it faster. Enlightened Action gives you a little more reload as well. You got Subsistence, so it's going to get more ammo in the magazine for getting kills. Threat Detector, you're surrounded by enemies, so you get faster reload and some other benefits. Repulsor Brace, Hipfire Grip, Dynamic Sway Reduction. So you've got some average perks in the third column. It's not double damage perks, right? Like, you know, you've got some interesting ad clear perks there. Then we have on the right hand column, the fourth column, Master of Arms, which they did say has been nerfed and brought down, but it's cool to see that that perk is coming back. We'll see how powerful, how potent it is. Master of Arms returns with the Recluse. Target Lock, Frenzy, Destabilizing Rounds, Surrounded, which is a very, very good perk for SMGs, tap the trigger. And then the new perk, Desperate Measures. So that's pretty interesting. We'll have to see which role ends up being the absolute god role and the best role for... I mean, for me personally, I'm going to use the Recluse for ad clear inside Destiny 2, but there's also some roles in there that could be decent for PvP, especially when you got Dynamic Sway Reduction on there. You can have some nice stability on it. Then we got the Mountaintop is coming back, and this thing is going to be... could be crazy. I think that Bungie's going to be smart and not make it as OP as it was back in the day, of course. We've turned its Micro Missile perk into a new Breach Grenade Launcher intrinsic perk, so it retains its functionality and has two traits on top of that. The third column for the Mountaintop is going to be Ambitious Assassin, Impulse Amplifier, Demo, Lead from Gold, Slick Draw, Auto-Loading Holster, and Overflow. Personally, I like auto-loading. That sounds pretty clean to me. Just swap to the Mountaintop, shoot it once, then swap back off of it onto something else. That's a lot of the playstyle we used before. We'd shoot Mountaintop, swap to your Recluse, so I could see that having a ton of application, more so than a lot of these others here. And then on a fourth column, we've got Rampage, Vorpal, Adrenaline Junkie, One for All, Harmony, Recombination, and Frenzy. Interesting perk combinations here. Not exactly sure which one I would go for the god roll. I'll have to give it some time and test some stuff out. Except we've got the Hammerhead. This machine gun was so clean. This is easily the most like satisfying weapon to shoot if you had never shot this before from the Black Armory. It just had the best sound, the best feel, the look, the aesthetic, everything about this thing was just amazing. New perk combinations got Rampage and Killing Tally like we saw in the video. Rampage and Desperate Measures are particularly spicy in PvE. The third column, we got Feeding Frenzy, Reload perk, Destabilizing Rounds, Envious Assassin, Rampage, 4 times the Charm, rewind rounds and over under. Could have been really good. I kind of wish reconstruction was in there. You know, it is what it is. The reconstruction would have been absolutely nuts for this Hammerhead, but there's some definitely interesting perks in here. Obviously, I'm going to go with just double damage perks first and foremost. We just want Rampage. We're trying to run through some ads, mow the ads down. So of course, I'm just going to choose rewind rounds over stuff like Feeding Frenzy. Like, that's not even... I get maybe you want to reload your machine gun faster because they do reload so slow, but double damage is double damage. We're going Rampage. You got Surrounded. Usually not the best on a machine gun because you're not trying to let enemies get that close to you. High Impact Reserves. Meh. Target Lock. Onslaught. Target Lock's not too bad. Onslaught. Healing Tally is crazy. Desperate Measures. And then they had Tap the Trigger there, so I guess you could have Tap the Trigger for like a PvP god roll. But yeah, Killing Tally and Rampage, that sounds kind of nuts. That sounds kind of nuts. And then we could even try out the new perk. Either way, double damage perk, machine gun, 450. This is going to be really, really sick god roll to grind for sure. And the Hammerhead is going to be one of the must-have weapons. The Blast Furnace is that aggressive burst, the 4-round pulse rifle style burst. This thing is going to pack a serious punch in PvP, I would say more so than PvE. We got Zen Moment, Snapshot, Shoot to Loot, Keep Away, Perpetual Motion, Kinetic Tremors, and Head Seeker. Head Seeker is always a good option on these pulse rifles these days. That could be very, very strong. Fourth column, we got Kill Clip, Firefly, One for All, Frenzy, Rampage, Rapid Hit, and then the new perk, Desperate Measures. That's good. I could see some really strong potential for the Blast Furnace to shred inside PvP. Edge Transit's coming back, and it's not just going to be a meme this time. They're actually giving it some really powerful perks in the third and fourth column. So we'll see what we end up using this for. Obviously, you know, myself personally, if I'm going to use a power weapon, I don't really want to use it for ad clear too much. Use my power weapon more so for boss damage, but kind of depends on the encounter. If there's no boss, then of course, you know, use a power weapon for ad clear. Third column, we got Chain Reaction. It's more of an ad clear perk. Cascade Point, which is a DPS perk. Impulse Amplifier, more of a PvP perk. Field Prep, Ambitious Assassin, Envious Assassin, and Repulsor Brace. So some interesting combinations there on the left column. Frenzy, Destabilizing Rounds, Deconstruction, One for All, Bait and Switch, Full Court, and Explosive Light. So it's got some excellent options in the fourth column as well. That's exciting. Edge Transit is about to be one of the DPS metas, I think, for at least for heavy GLs. If you're rocking that, it's going to be one of the better options. Luna's Howl is coming back, but not forgotten. Unfortunate. It was originally a 180 RPM, and that Magnificent Howl perk would let you 2-tap in PvP. That thing was absolutely busted back in the day. They've changed this thing so many times now, it's finally sat on it being a 140 RPM hand cannon. Still has the Magnificent Howl perk. And we've got Eye of the Storm, Subsistence, Discord, Encore, Slide Shot, Enlightened Action, and Heal Clip. The fourth column, we got that perk Magnificent Howl, that unique perk to it, this weapon alone. And we've got Kill Clip, Incandescent, everyone's favorite PvE perk. And then Desperate Measures, Opening Shot, Precision Instrument, and Harmony. So very cool, very cool. I'm excited to get my hands on that as well. And then we've got Midnight Coup. This is probably the one I'm most excited for personally. I want to see exactly what perks they have. I can't even wait. I already know what we used to use back in the day. The Outlaw Rampage roll. How many kills did you get on your Midnight Coup? I want you to comment that down below. In the third column, we have Outlaw, Firefly, Shoot to Loot, Explosive Payload, Moving Target, Attrition Orbs, and Light in Action. All right, that's easy decision right there. Explosive Payload in the left-hand column. That's a damage perk. We have to choose damage perk over non-damage perks, especially in PvE. In the right-hand column, we got Rampage, Kinetic Tremors, Zen Moment, One for All, ooh, Frenzy, Opening Shot, and Desperate Measures. Okay, I'm thinking maybe Explosive Payload and Desperate Measures could be really, really good, especially if you can continuously keep stacking that damage from that. That could be really epic. If not, obviously, I'm going One for All at that point. One for All is going to be nice. Explosive Payload, One for All. That's basically the Zali's Bane of the kinetic slot. That's going to be absolutely massive. So definitely looking forward to that. Next up, we got the Hung Jury SR4. This could be pretty good as it comes back. We haven't seen this thing in quite a while. Hung Jury SR4 was at one time the most requested weapon to be brought forward just because of that D1 nostalgia. This time around, it's going to have Rewind Rounds, Enlightened Action, Kinetic Tremors, Rapid Hit, Shoot to Loot, No Distractions, and Loose Change. I mean, it's okay. And then we got One for All, Cascade Point, Box Breathing, Firefly, Precision Instrument, Desert Instrument, and we got Explosive Rounds on. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be okay. Nothing about this seems necessarily too crazy. Explosive Rounds and Kinetic Tremors, I think people are gonna get excited about that. Let me know which role you think you'll be most excited for the Hung Jury's return. LC's rifle, original Destiny. This one's going to be an interesting one for sure. It's could shake up the sandbox quite a bit, as it's basically just a legendary, no time to explain. Feeding Frenzy, Zen Moment, Repulsor Brace, Loose Change, Keep Away, Over Under, and Rewind Rounds. And then fourth column, we have Adrenaline Junkie, Frenzy, Destabilizing Rounds, Kill Clip, Desperado, Desperate Measures, and Head Seeker. Now, Desperado, keep in mind, has been nerfed pretty substantially. A lot of people remember this perk being OP, and it was for the Messenger for a while, but it has been nerfed pretty substantially. It's still a decent perk, but not what it used to be back in the glory days. So, Head Seeker is a very good option in PvP, and then you have lots of other excellent options here. PvP as well with Zen Moment, Keep Away. Be a crazy weapon for sure. Definitely looking forward to seeing that. Those are all the different perks options. We'll obviously have to test that out when it goes live in the game. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you want to stay up to date on all the news in Destiny 2, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.